Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Loring, and I'm still finding weird spots on my screen. Sorry. I did a meeting earlier, and I was like scratching my screen. Anyway, um, yeah, my name is Lisa Loring, and I'm here to do the reading for Wednesday, August 18th. Tomorrow's a big milestone for me. What are the milestones that you're marking in your life? Maybe it's a milestone of working with today's energy, which was pretty amazing. How'd you work your magic? I found myself in the middle of Whole Foods. Yes, I'm in my robe. I just took my shower. It's Roby. It's Roby time. Tuesdays are a long day for me because I have a meeting that I do at 8:30 at night. And then when I'm in the west, when I'm in Central Time, it is at a better time, I will have to say. But no worries, it's all good. And then yes, it gets a little late, but yeah, in my room, in my room. But yeah, milestones. I was in the middle of Whole Foods today because I had to go and pick up something that only specifically Whole Foods has. And I was having I found myself going into a negative spiral pattern. Remember that Ten of Swords card? And I was just like, oh, Lisa, we are not going there. There is nothing new here for you. You can go into that space or you can lift that situation up with love. And I caught myself and I just literally changed right in the middle of Whole Foods. Milestone. It's important to take a look back because that's when we know that we are creating, excuse me, we are creating different ways of being and celebrating those milestones. So not only do we catch ourselves in those moments, but we actually celebrate them. It's important to celebrate them, to take a deep breath and to celebrate them. In the tradition of yoga that I teach, there's something called, I think it's called the breath formula. Oh no, it's the change formula, I think. And it is catching ourselves in that moment, taking a breath, like really becoming conscious that you've made that catch, and then celebrating and thinking a positive thought or just celebrating the fact that you caught yourself in the thought or, just changing the behavior all the way around. We like it. We love it. We want more of it. We like that I have made a sort of nightstand for my tea here. I'm still at my parents', as we know. I'm also making milestones that I'm getting increasingly innovative and resourceful. As you will see when I angle the camera down, I'm in my robe, but I forgot. Remember, I brought more tarot cards and crystals than I did clothing. I even forgot my robe tie. But I'm using a yoga strap as my tie. Normally that would have driven me crazy. I would have to go out and buy myself a new robe. Milestone. Just don't need that anymore. I don't. You might. But for me, that's just not a thing. You know what I mean? But it might be a thing for you, and I'm not knocking that. You know what? If a new robe makes you happy, go and buy yourself a new robe because there's nothing like a robe. Just saying. Shout out to Mark Rebel, who does all those live streams. He's an awesome DJ, awesome singer, way better than me. And he has some really, his robe game is completely on point. I think I've spoken out to that before. All right. So let's do the reading for Wednesday, August 18th. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, subscribe. Liking and sharing are some of the best ways that you can support the work or get the message to somebody you think who needs it. I'll post this on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So whatever format floats your boat, get on your boat. All right, I'm still using the Everyday Tarot by Biddy Tarot. And you know what? What is her name? Biddy? Oh God, what is her name? She's a really nice lady. Maybe she talks. Maybe her name is in here. Bridget Esselmont. Oh, and the illustration are by Eleanor Grosh. There's often a different artist from the author of the deck. We talked about this yesterday with my parents, how our ways of expressing ourselves might come in one way. Like there's a person we know who is very short when they text back. But if you ask them to like send you a picture, it's like so expressive and it really shows who they are. Right? So that's, how do we, learn to, learn to continue to cultivate even more in the best ways that we do express ourselves. That King of Cups, that Ace of Wands card. And, how do we what's the avenue of our best self-expression? Go for it. Like, just go whole hog. And then from there, you start to learn to develop expressing yourself in ways that maybe you're less comfortable. Don't know why that's coming up for me, but there we are. Might be something in the cards for us. What are the messages for Wednesday, August 18th? One's coming out already. Ace of Pentacles. We had the Ace of Wands yesterday. This is an idea that's coming into fruition. It's a really good idea that's coming into manifest in the 3D. What are the things that you've been working on that you're really starting to see come to life right in front of you? What are the reflections of that you are seeing to come to life right in front of you? Ace in the hole. Ace of Pentacles is the start of something. We talked about that yesterday in yesterday's reading about repotting things. That gardening imagery came up in my meeting earlier tonight. Cultivating, pulling out the weeds in order to, just work the ground, work with care, whatever you're working on. Repotting was coming into was a strong message in yesterday's reading. Putting something that maybe, taking a branch off and you want to cultivate it in a different area, putting it into some water so it can grow roots to therefore be put into soil into another location. Transforming what we're working on. The Ace card is considered a 1 card in this deck. So are the court cards, by the way. Kings, queens, knights, pages. Hot flashes. What are the other messages coming in for Wednesday, August 18th? The High Priestess. We're in the quarter moon phase right now, moving towards a full moon in Aquarius. The High Priestess has more of an eclipse. I get an eclipse vibe off this. It might be something that definitely. Here's another card coming out, 8 of Swords. Those guys kind of want to come out together, and the 2 of Wands. A little closer for you. Okay, I think we're going to go with those. And then bottom of the deck, we have the Empress with her pomegranate, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Pentacles. There we go. You can see that better there. All right. Have a look at let's angle the camera down. Let's see what we got. All right, yes, as you can see, I'm wearing my lovely yoga tie. You know what? I'm being innovative. I'm actually kind of 100% okay with my robe game. Lucky I have a robe. Lucky I remember to pack a robe. Okay, so what do we have here? Interesting array. These kind of came out together. I almost feel like it's almost a separate card, though. Ace of Pentacles, we've discussed this a bit. You know, this really kind of brings forward that theme, that idea, that energy that we are repotting something, we're transforming something. Meditation is one of the features of the High Priestess card, and she's here. I see that we have two twos, the Two of Wands, and then the High Priestess card is a Major Arcana card, and she is a 2 as well. The High Priestess is, I'm feeling that the High Priestess is here because she is here, that is, and you know, there's again this theme here of being in the imprisonment of our own mind. The 10 of Swords came through yesterday. We're down to an 8, not a 10. So this indicates to me that there's still some energy of being in a prison of our own making. That's what the 8 of Swords generally indicates. And as I said in yesterday's reading, the Suit of Swords is about thoughts. It's philosophies. The moon is also crossed the galactic center this evening. So in the sign of Sagittarius, so it's in the high degrees of Sagittarius. It actually completed its journey through Sagittarius and is in the suit of Capricorn, which is not an air sign. It is actually a earth sign, a cardinal earth sign. So sometimes these thoughts can seem really super real, and they can seem things be real in what I'm picking up is that it's real in a way that we also have Black Moon Lilith in Gemini, which is an air sign. So some of the thoughts that we're having may feel, with the moon in High Priestess is also emulating, bringing in the moon energy, feeling that it's real in the 3D. You know, whatever our thoughts are, they're real in the 3D. In reality, in matter, in things that matter to us, but they actually only are our thoughts. And this is the opportunity we have a very, very big opportunity now to transcend our old thought patterns, our ways of approaching things, our belief systems, to really turn them on their heads, which, you know, I love that these swords are all pointing down. So you're actually pointing the swords down and saying, no, I'm not actually going to do this. So with quietude and meditation, it's really important to, you know, take this kind of solo time, treating yourself as an ace in the hole, and taking your time to sit back, know that these thoughts are there, to look at them, look behind. The High Priestess is very much a figure of looking behind the curtain, and giving ourselves the opportunity, giving ourselves that still quiet time to treat ourselves really, really well, and you know, to transplant ourselves into that larger pot. You know, these things don't happen overnight. We have to give ourselves time to cultivate ourselves, to cultivate this new way of being. There's going to be back and forth between the old way of thinking and the new way of thinking and the new way of being and acting. So if we take that time, especially we have a full moon coming up in Aquarius on Sunday, and you know, this is really important because at the time of Aquarius, you know, there's going to be a lot of things that you know, after that full moon, we're going to be starting to make some decisions after this Saturday, after this Sunday, of, you know, really saying that we're not going to continue making prisoners of ourselves, and putting aside the thought patterns that are making us prisoners, that are keeping us from being able to choose a different road. And the Two of Wands is very much, and this is not the swords, like it's not Two of Swords energy. We can start to be innovative, you know, out of that Aquarian energy. Aquarian energy is innovation, right? The High Priestess card can also be considered a card of Aquarius. So so that Aquarian energy is already coming in, and we might even be feeling that. And considering this is me reading, I'm definitely already feeling this. It's been like rolling with me for the past couple of days. So that's not surprising that it would come up in cards that I'm pulling for us. So that's the gift that I'm giving you. And it's a little insight into what not only tomorrow will bring, but some of the feeling of what we're going to be rolling with for between now and next Sunday, and even into the week at the beginning of next week. So this Two of Wands is we're starting to make some real take this time to meditate about what it is, these thought patterns. Aquarius is an air sign. These thought patterns that keep us from being the best and brightest that we can possibly be. Empress card is at the bottom of the deck. The pomegranate is a symbol of extreme abundance, extreme fertility. We have the stars in this Empress's hair, which again, kind of like gives us the feeling of a star card. It's not the star card. This is the Empress card, but still, it has that kind of sensation of a star card. Kind of brings in a little bit of that vibe, and the star card is another card of Aquarius. But we, in order to, and you see that she's also holding a ball. It's almost these two kind of mirror one another, don't they? The High Priestess is also holding a ball. This is holding a ball. This is the world in your hands. Remember, we had that oyster card yesterday. The world is your pearl. The world is your oyster. What are you going to make of it? The Empress is an extremely abundant character. What kind of abundance can you bring in? This is the Eight of Pentacles is a card of being extremely. You're just so excellent at your job that you move to the Nine of Pentacles. But if we continue to hold on to things too tightly, we end up, not being able to do a gosh darn thing. And I love that this particular card has this person, holding, onto these three pentacles so tightly they don't even notice the one. There's even one on their head, but they don't even. It's like they're looking for it, but it's back here. That one on your head is the one that's actually within. So instead of letting it being a head thing, go into the heart. So basically, we're in a space. We're in a wonderful time frame here where we can, take the time. Don't let these thoughts, when you find yourselves in this moment of imprisonment, and kind of feeling dragged back to an old way of being. Don't make yourself a prisoner of that. You're not an ascension fail, if you will. You're actually, it's the moment and opportunity to actually look at what it is so that you can start to make some better decisions and make a better road going forward with the resources that you have, and trust and faith in yourself. Being able to do that, though, does take time. It does take quietude in order to, like I said, treat yourself as that gold. So, and it is going within. It's not just a head thing. It's not above you. It's within you, right? And you're not above anything. You're not above going into these thoughts. Take that time. This is where you start to elicit that change. Like I said, what's the change formula? Take the time to notice that you're in this yuck. Take a breath. And then celebrate. Pick up the pearl that you are. Celebrate that. But this all takes like that one moment to even notice. Okay. So I brought out the, I brought the Goddess deck, but I think I do want to pick from the Blessed Be deck, and we worked with this a couple of weeks ago, and I want to go ahead and bring the Blessed Be deck out in order to give us a final commentary on today's reading. And I love how all the cards are very purple and gold, and the purple is the color of the that deep indigo. Deep purple is the color of the third eye chakra. It's the color of royalty, and so are you. Treat yourself like royalty. Give yourself the permission, and you don't even need to ask permission. Just take your time to make your decisions, to listen to yourself so that you can start to make the changes and move down the roads that you really want to be moving towards. Blessed Be deck, what are the messages that we have for tomorrow, Wednesday, and as a commentary on this reading for everybody for Wednesday, August 18th. So grateful. So grateful for what we have. So grateful for the deck. So grateful for the messages that have come through and the guidance that I have received to share with everybody. I'm blessed for this time, this space. Ooh, got 2 cards. A blessing for good men and fathers. This is the number 13, the number 15 card. I love this with a robin. Robins were a very big theme in my family's conversation today. And a blessing to ease loneliness and bring companionship. And to find your tribe. These are beautiful. All right, so let's read the number 15 card. And I love that. Is it 15? No, it is 13. I'm so sorry. A blessing for good men and fathers. A blessing for the men, the good men, who do the essential work for themselves, for each other, for their families, for their communities. So this is like, the divine masculine. And again, we have that star. Look at that star card. Air energy is a masculine energy. So this is really taking mastery of our thoughts. Look at that crown. So, I'm seeing this crown up this person's head, this crown above this beautiful man's head. Look at that. We need good men, loving fathers, fully flowered in their masculinity. May you be blessed with the healing of any wounds. I'm getting right now, before I even go further into this, just, using that masculine energy of thinking, logic, to really, be a divine spark. Use it for creativity, not just pulling through, using it for in the divinity, in the divine way that it's meant to be. May you be blessed with the healing of any wounds you hold and hide within. The woundedness of what those thought patterns have created in our life, continually, perpetually wounding ourselves by staying stuck in that kind of energy. May you allow yourself to be vulnerable and tender in the care of the young. May you be blessed with the strength of your own untainted power and open up to the great abilities that lie within you. Beneath the muscle and sinew and grit and stoic face you show the world. May you be blessed and be open-hearted in love, intelligent in your alliances, honorable in your agreements, and courageous when you must stand and resist the challenges that may come to you. May you receive the blessings of opening yourself to your own immense internal beauties, refusing to identify only with the shadow which swallows so many good men. Instead, when you meet the darkness within, let it be understood, acknowledged, and honored, healed, and transformed, and thus may you turn away from stereotypes and become your true self. May all men be blessed as they do this sacred work. To every man may you be a brother, and with every honorable act of care and compassion and protection and nurture may you be most blessed. For you are precious to us all, and you father us all. It is not through the bonds of biology, but through the strands of connection, for all men are our brothers. May you show the next men how to father themselves, and thus continue the evolution of our humanity. To all men who have literally had the blessing of children, may your nurture be blessed. To all men who raise and rear other men's children, may you be most blessed. To the good men and good fathers, for showing the many possibilities of how a man can be good in a very deep, real way, offering us all a well of wisdom from which to drink, a fire of protection and love by which to warm oneself, and the endless love of the sea in which we are reborn. May your gifts to the world return to you threefold. Blessed be. I love this energy. This is beautiful commentary on this. This is Aquarian energy at its best, right? Aquarian energy is about brotherhood. Even though it's a masculine sign, an air sign, it is all about, brotherhood and oneness, which is normally something attributed to a feminine aspect. But it's actually a masculine aspect. It's a very beautiful card. It's extremely meaningful. The men in my family are this man. I'm very blessed and super grateful. So the number 40 card, I love this one. This is never one that I've ever picked, I don't believe. Let's see what this has to share with us. A blessing to ease loneliness and bring companionship. This is a blessing for when we find ourselves without those touchstones of our humanity, our friends and companions. A period of loneliness, quite different to solitude, can take place for many reasons. We can move away, our lives can change and be reshaped, and suddenly the space we found for each other has been closed off or absorbed by others. Sometimes we isolate ourselves, unwilling to be a burden to any others, and some are born into shyness and paralyzing social anxieties that make the seeking of friendships a terrifying thing. This blessing is for you when you feel alone. Let there be that call, that note, that memory that comes forth to remind you of your innate worthiness. Let there be that smile from a stranger or a touch from a kind hand that lets you know your humanity is the same as theirs and you have about you connections that can be rewoven. Let other gentle hands pick up and do the reweaving when you find yourself unable to perform the task, and let serendipity come to you, guiding you to chance meetings or places where music plays and people move and the gathering is undemanding of you. It surrounds you with the quality of inclusion. Let the loneliness begin to break, like clouds slowly moving apart, and the great heaviness of isolation begin to be lightened by loving companions, humans and otherwise, until you return to a place where you know you have within your life those who care for you, and without your presence, their life seems less bright. I don't know who needs to hear this. I feel like there's someone specific who's meant to hear this. So please pass this message to anybody who needs this. And I know that we are going into a time when that seems very uncertain and feels like it might go, back where we were. But we know how to work with being alone if we need to. We know how to reach out, and we have the tools. That's also innovative. That's also Aquarian energy. The innovative ways that we found to connect to one another and understand the priority that our connections are for us. And we know how to do that and utilize them, so don't be afraid. Okay? I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's a pretty remarkable card to come out. So I thank you for joining me this evening. Again, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for those who do make no donations. The link is in the description below. And I love you. Have a great day.